Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of the viewers from around the world. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of correlation and regression, we will be looking into the forex, commodities, and the equity space to figure out the opportunities which are likely to arise with the help of price action data. So we will be considering the momentum and the relative strength of the momentum in the instrument of our choice. We will be looking into the specific class of instruments to figure out which one is the strongest bet and which one is trading on the similar trajectory, but it is not showing enough of momentum to warrant a trade. So let us now head to the JForex 4, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. This is the Euro USD, which is of course bearish for the day. It made a high at around 1.040, and afterwards it has declined almost 80 to 90 pips. And after the release of US data, we saw this short spurt, and it will be interesting to see now if it is going to change the course and rise, or if it is going into decline, or if it is going to continue to decline. Right now, its momentum is surely on the bearish side, so it is better that we keep the outlook on the bearish side only. So in that case, all we have to do is see if the dollar is the strongest one, then which one is the weakest against the dollar. If the dollar is in bullish momentum, then we have to compare the currency crosses like Euro USD, AUD USD, GBP USD, NZD USD, and other USD crosses like even USD CHF, USD CAD, and of course USD JPY to look for the opportunities with higher probability. Here, the momentum is likely to remain bearish unless we see any significant turnaround and sharp jump toward this prior swing high. At least this swing high needs to be crossed before we can think about its reversal or any sort of reversal. So right now the momentum is bearish, but it is going to be interesting take moving forward after this spurt. So we will have to give it some more time, and even if after consolidation for next few hours, if we don't really see it crossing above this prior swing high, in that scenario we can again start waiting for the short sale continuation of this bearish trend with possibility of a fresh lower low being made in coming hours. So here the Euro USD started to make these lows at around 11:30 GMT, and afterwards it has continued to make these lower lows. Now if we compare it to other currency crosses, for example AUD USD, the AUD started its decline a bit earlier, and if you pay attention to its magnitude of the decline also, it has declined substantially more compared to the Euro USD. So both in terms of the timing where the decline began and in terms of the magnitude, the AUD is leading the euro. So in that case, we have to consider the short sale in AUD USD instead of Euro USD if we simply go by the correlation. And in this correlational aspect, we have the AUD leading the Euro USD. Now, let me consider other currency crosses first before I can figure out on which one is the best bet. So for USD JPY, the momentum shifted, and it made this high, 4 hourly high, at around the same time as Euro USD, and afterwards it has continued to rise. Now for Euro, yes, the timing is almost the same with a slight difference, I think couple of minutes. The difference is not that prominent. Let us consider the GBP. Yes, it is also at around the same time. And we come back to other, which is NZUSD. I think it is not included in this subscribed list, so I will have to take it out from this list of USD crosses. No, all right. First one, here it is. For NZD, it is showing the similar trajectory as the GBP USD and Euro USD. So far, we have the lead in AUD. And now going back to the other currency crosses, let us see what's happening in CAD. The CAD was actually showing some lag. It made this high at 11:35 GMT instead of 11:30, as was the case with other currencies. And moving to these correlational aspect, I think the CAD is actually showing lag, and we have other currencies which are into the leading space. Let us go to the USD CHF. USD CHF also around the same time. So we have got this now leading and the lagging currency. USD CAD is the one which is lagging, and AUD USD is the one which is leading. So if you want to go for continuation of this bearish trajectory in these currencies against the dollar, then in that scenario, the AUD USD seems to be the best bet for the time being. But if you see any kind of turnaround and afterwards, if we see consolidation and in later hours of the day, if we see signs of turnaround from these highs, then in that scenario, we will have to pay attention to the price formation of the USD CAD, as CAD seems to be the lagging one in this correlational study. Now let us go to the equity space. Let's see what's happening there. In the equity space, we have this continuous downfall, and here also this momentum shift happened around the same time. We had these earlier moves on the higher side, and after that, this continuous decline with formation of lower lows has been unfolding in the Dow Jones Industrial Average futures. Now, as the US session is going to get underway, we have this bearish momentum prevalent in the Dow Jones Industrial Futures. So we can expect this bearish momentum to last, and in coming hours, unless there is any significant turnaround, we can continue to bet on these decline. And for that, all we have to do is figure out the short selling opportunities and the levels on which we can go short on these equity indices. So for that, we have to figure out in terms of the strength which one is the strongest one and which one is the weakest bet. And if we go to these S&P 500, the S&P 500 made a low at 11.5 GMT, which is a bit earlier compared to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. In terms of magnitude, the decline is almost 2 percentage point, little bit close to that. From the high, it is even more than 2 percentage point. For Dow, let us see. For Dow, the decline is little less than 2 percentage point, and also in terms of timing, it is showing some lag. So we have a better bet in the S&P 500 compared to the Dow Jones Industrial Average for shorting opportunities. For take Nasdaq, the Nasdaq is showing also some lag, and it is even trading behind the Dow Jones Industrial Average. In terms of its magnitude of decline, it is also little less than 2 percentage point. So we have a case for shorting in the S&P 500 of all these three equity indices. So as and when you get this opportunity, whenever we see some sort of consolidation and afterwards the start of fresh bearish momentum, in that scenario, I would prefer to go short on the S&P 500 instead of these two indices. The Nasdaq is the least bearish of all these three. So only in case of turnaround, I think it will make sense to pay attention to its possible reversal. But at the moment, there are not many signs of reversal. So first, we will have to allow it to stabilize, and some bullish momentum should come in first before we can think about going long in these Nasdaq's Nasdaq for going long into the Nasdaq. Now, let us take a look on the European equity indices. Let's consider what has been the development so far there. For DAX, the Germany's equity index, The lead was not really there. It has continued to follow the US equity indices lead, and here we have this case of bearishness prevalent in the DAX as well. But as I said, it is simply following the lead of the US equity indices. So for any trade on the short sale side, it will make much more sense to go short in the S&P 500 compared to the DAX, which earlier in the day was actually rising, and then it reversed course, and it has now declined almost closer to 2 percentage point. But in terms of the timing, it went on to make this low quite late at 12:10 GMT. And if we consider this crossover, we have these average prices which are continuously in this bearish momentum, and we have the hourly average price which has been below this 2 hourly average price for consistent almost 3 to 4 hours. So we have this momentum which is quite bearish, but as I said, it is much more of an idea, much more sense. It makes much more sense to go for shorting opportunities in the US equity indices. Now let us consider other equity indices in the Europe, the FTSE. For that, we will have to take FTSE 100's price action data, and it seems like that FTSE 100, though it made this low quite early compared to the DAX, it has not declined that much in terms of the magnitude. And even if we take its price formation from top to this low, it is little less than 1 percentage point. So magnitude is not really there. And in terms of its lag, or when it made this 4 hourly low, it is 10:40 GMT. But afterwards, it has also shown some signs of consolidation. So we have had these crossovers first on the upper side, then again back in the bearish phase. So this is in consolidation phase. Instead of that, the momentum is quite strong for the S&P 500 and other equity indices in US. Let's consider the Euro 50 index. Euro 50 is on the similar trajectory. There is not much of any difference, and compared to the FTSE 100, it is looking strongly bearish with this continuous decline with the formation of lower lows. Even now, it is at the day's lowest point, but still, I think it will be a better idea to continue to short it instead of trying to go long. So that's the case for EU Stock 50. Let's consider the equity index of France, CAC 40. So here we have this decline prevalent in the CAC 40 as well. With this decline, we have the confirmation on the bearish side. But here also, I think the lag is there. It had gone into the consolidation phase, and again it has entered into a fresh decline. But for any new trades to be taken in the equity space, I would prefer the S&P 500, which is also leading, and in terms of the magnitude as well as in terms of the timing. And as the US session is going to get underway, we will have a lot more volatility there compared to these other equity indices. So it should be given a preference for any trade to be taken on the bearish side. And if you expect any sort of turnaround, in that case, we can start watching out for the price formation of the FTSE 100, which is entering into a consolidation phase, and it is looking much more stable compared to other equity indices. So that would be the first choice in terms of a possible reversal. But for the time being, the things are looking, of course, bearish. Now let's see what's the development in terms of the average prices. So here we have this phase in which the FTSE started to decline after getting closer to the average price of last 24 hours, and since then it has continued to deviate on the lower side. For Germany, the DAX, as I said, this upward momentum was quite strong, but it failed to sustain the gains and it continued in the bearish trajectory following the lead of US equity futures. And now it seems to be declining quite fast, and it is quite probable that it will go on to decline even below this prior low established around 14,121. So it will be interesting to see how things unfold as the day progresses. For CAC 40, the new low is there. It is also following a similar trajectory with consolidation around this day's average price, the 24 hours average price, and then it has now gone on to make a fresh low. So it is leading compared to the DAX. Let us consider what's the play with US equity indices. For US equity indices, things are much more bearish with this magnitude as well as the fresh low. It is the lowest one. So here we have a clear case of bearish momentum prevalent in the S&P 500, and as I have explained to you, this is the leading one, and Nasdaq is the lagging one in all these three equity indices for US. Let's go back to currency space and consider what's happening in terms of the deviation from the mean. For Euro USD, the consolidation was happening closer to these 24-hour as well as for 12 hours average prices, and after this consolidation, it gave way on the lower side with this decline coming in. I think gradually we will see it again inching back towards this prior low. So unless and until it climbs back above this 24 hours average price, which is there around 1.037, I'm not really expecting it to show significant gains. So first it will have to consolidate with a possible move towards these average prices, and only if there is a breakthrough on the upper side, then only we can start to expect it to climb back and get closer to these swing high established around 1.048. Let us consider the developments for the USD JPY. USD JPY is strongly in the bullish phase. It made this low at 138.87, and from that low it has gained almost 180 pips, and it seems to be the strongest bait for the day in terms of this rise. For the euro, the decline is there, but it has declined only 80 pips. But USD JPY, it has gained a lot, and that is also evident in this upward momentum, the shift of momentum for the euro JPY. It has been bearish, but now it has hold on to its swing low, and it is showing significant price rise. So it will be interesting space to watch out for these price action, and if it continues, then we can even expect it to climb back towards this immediate swing high in coming hours. For the USD CAD, things are on the bullish side. Here we have this continuous formation of higher highs. GBP USD. GBP USD has declined significantly for the day with a decline of around 180 pips. So we can expect some consolidation moving forward, but right now it is like a falling knife. So we should avoid any temptation of getting involved on the opposite side of the trend and wait for it to first consolidate. And if things stabilize on the lower side, then eventually we can expect some regression from these large deviation towards the average price. But right now things are quite difficult, and it is better to continue to trade on the bearish momentum with the lead being there for the AUD USD. All right. So that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write back to me in the feedback, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. For further coverage of the market developments, do check out the Dukascopy Analytics page. We are also available on the Facebook. You can reach out to us there too. I have also included the link in the bio for these newly released trading platforms. So give it a try and let me know how it works out for you. See you tomorrow, guys. I will be back tomorrow with the fresh assessment of the market developments. Thank you all for joining in. Goodbye.